This brings me to this coaching transmission today, which we're going to be discussing the energetics around a foundational principle required for humans to exist in flow with the universe, which is coherence. All right, so the word is coherence for today. So in human existence, we have certain energetic principles or pillars of human existence, as I have structured them myself in my mastermind and in my teachings. These pillars of existence, these human pillars of existence, are energetics, principles in which once a human embodies, then life becomes more flowing, more easeful, more graceful. And they are principles that are required in order for us to actually connect to spirit in this existence, to actually hear fully our divine message, what we're here to do, what we're here to share, and to really activate the frequencies within ourselves that are desired and needed and required in order for us to live the best possible life and be the most expanded, potent, powerful version of ourselves possible. When we do not understand, embody, or respect these principles of human existence, then we are not able to manifest, prosper, grow, heal, or transform. Now, transformation is an important part of life. I've heard recently somebody say, "Oh, transformation. Oh, I don't like that word because that means that we're not good enough as we are. We need to transform in something new." That's not what transformation means. Transformation refers to growing, shifting, and changing frequencies that are not serving your highest good, which if you are a human, you have areas to transform. It is inevitable. So if you believe you're on above transformation and beyond transformation, and it's not necessary for you, then wow, congratulations. But it would be very unusual for you to be back here on the human plane with all of us humans, because humans, part of their journey is transformation. So coherence is a foundational principle that exists at the beginning of everything that is to become manifest. All right. So that again, coherence is the foundational principle that exists at the base, at the beginning of everything that is to become manifest. That means coherence refers to having full coherence, clarity, knowing about what we want in life. And this relates to everything. It refers to the energetic principle of knowing exactly what you want, knowing exactly what you're going for, being fully clear of your vision, being fully coherent about what you want. If we do not know what we want in any area of our life, anywhere, we cannot expect to manifest it, because coherence is the first layer of manifestation. It is absolutely essential that we know exactly what we want if we want to manifest it. We cannot create anything in our life without having coherence at the base. If our choices, thoughts, visions, feelings are not coherent, what they are is confused. If I send a confused message to the universe, if I send out a confused vibration, oh, maybe I want a boyfriend, maybe I want to live in Australia, maybe I'll live in England, maybe I want lots of clients, maybe I don't because that's too scary. These are confused messages. The universe can only co-collaborate with you when you give it a very clear message. So it would be, I would like a relationship that is loving, warm, and matches my vibration completely. It would be, I want to live in a beautiful home in Australia, in Queensland, perhaps Brisbane, with a pool and lots of light. It might be, I would like to see 10 clients per week. So see the difference there? There's a layer of coherence that is essential for anything to come into fruition. I'll say that again. There is a layer of coherence that is essential for anything to come into fruition. So what we always need to know if we want to manifest something successfully is what we want. We don't need to know how we're going to get it. Talk about that later. But we need to know what it is. And when we have coherence about it, it is going to come to us very, very easily. Coherence is essential at the base of everything. If we start projects off, start relationships, start friendships, start new jobs, start anything from that period at the beginning, which is the stage of Brahma, when something comes into creation, if it's not coherent, it will not work. There will be a time very soon on in often where we hit this point of, oh my God, what is happening? Why is this not going the way that I want it to go? Why is all this bad juju coming into it? Why is it not flowing? Why is it crushed? And then we can trace the steps back to the beginning of the process and go, I wasn't coherent about that in the beginning. I actually was feeling, oh, this is right, this is not right, this is right, this is not right. If we go into something with that, do we have coherence about it? No, we don't. We have confusion. And confusion then will be primary energetic at the foundation, at the base of what you've moved into. Who wants to move into things with confusion? None of us. It will not end well. It will end badly. Let me tell you, it will be against your soul. It will be detrimental. It will be harmful. And it will be something that you will later regret because you didn't listen to yourself in the beginning when there was a lack of coherence. If there's a lack of coherence in some situations, meaning we're kind of going, oh, should I do that? Should I not? Should I do that? Should I not? Oh, but the money looks good. Oh, but it will be too much like hard work. All of this, that's not coherent in any way. What that is a flick between your emotional body and your mental body often. They're having this internal dialogue. The emotional body is capturing one energy and the mental body is capturing the other energy. And then they're having this internal dialogue, which means there cannot be coherence because you're literally arguing internally. What we need to do when that happens is put it to the side. You need to acknowledge there's confusion or a lack of coherence, and we need to shift it to the side and accept that that's there, and then lift our vibrational frequency. Do something that increases our frequency of vibration so we move away from the internal conflict. The internal conflict is showing that there hasn't been a spiritual or a soul message that has clearly been received. It doesn't mean that it's not there. Your soul gives your messages to your body consistently, constantly, and then your physical body, emotional body, mental body have to take it, process it, play with it. Your chakras have to be consulted to see energetically how it all sits before we can have those realizations and those points where it lands and we just know. If we make decisions and choices when we're in that place, back and forth, lacking coherence, not having clarity, then it's very dangerous energetically because it means that we are going into something, saying yes to something without actually being 100% in our heart's coherence. So we'll have these situations where somebody maybe asks us and we're like, I don't really want to do that, but I'm going to say yes because I want to please you. Might be the story. Or it doesn't really feel right, doesn't land right, but I don't want to let you down. Or it doesn't feel right, but maybe it'll be okay when I do it. More often than not, your intuition is telling you something different. It's telling you that it isn't the right pathway for you, or it's telling you you need to sit with it for a while and process it before you make a decision or a choice. The coherence is the first step of everything. It's where we begin the process of anything that is to become manifest. So it's right down at the physical layer. In Sanskrit, we call this the Annamaya Kosha. This physical coherence starts in the physical realm. Am I clear on this? Then it moves into the emotions. Am I emotionally okay with this? Does it feel right? Then it lands in the mental body. Can I really visualize this? And can I think about this? And can I see this in a way that is really mentally aligned? And if all of those things fall into complete harmony with each other, then we have coherence quite instantly. And that level of coherence, when it lands, we just go, totally clear on this. This is exactly what I want. Now, I will tell you from experience that once we practice this regularly, we can have this all of the time. I would say that I am 90% all of the time coherent. There's a 10% that pops up now and again. Guess why? Because I'm a human, and that is what's supposed to happen to humans. But I reckon in my 20s, I lived a lot of the time probably without any coherence. Be like, yeah, whatever. Oh, I don't really know. Oh, I'll just go, sometimes things worked out for me. Sometimes they didn't. Life is much easier if you have coherence at the beginning. Yes, that's okay with me. I'm going to do that. No, that's not okay with me. I am completely clear that that is not the right path. When we want to manifest something, why does the first layer of that need to be coherence? Well, that's because the universe responds to extremely clear instruction. And this is because the universe co-collaborates with you when you are 100% full body, full heart, full soul in. When you are all the way in and you are coherent about whatever is to come, the universe goes, yeah, okay, let's do this together. Because the universe always wants to work with you. The universe always has your back. The universe always supports you. However, if you don't have a coherent message at the base and you're going, universe, just bring me this, or universe next day, well, no, actually bring me that instead, or the universe will bring me this, but I'm not sure if it's okay for me, or bring me this, but then I'm not worthy of it, I don't deserve it. The universe is literally confused and is just going, okay, well, nothing then. Nothing's happening. You'll hear crickets. Nothing will happen because there isn't the first primary layer of coherence planted energetically into what your vision is, into what you want. So when you know that coherence piece, it doesn't always need to be this crystal clear vision of exactly how it's going to happen, because the how is where the universe comes in. But you need to know what it is. So if I say to somebody, well, what do you want? And they go, oh, well, I don't know. And I go, okay, well, we need to do some work to uncover what you want, because we need to get to that point before we can do anything else. Whereas if I say to somebody else, what do you want? And they say, well, I want a relationship with a loving man, or I want a relationship with a loving woman, or I want a successful business where I see, 10 clients a week, or I want to run retreats and have them thriving and buzzing, or, I want to have a baby. We've got to get this clarity. This coherence is like, okay, now we know it's coherent, it is clear, then of course we can work to put the steps in place to manifest that, because the universe works with you to manifest, and that is how manifestation works. And it can't work with you if it doesn't have a coherent instruction. All right, so let's look at, some ways in which this can be an energetic that might be relative to you. So when you do positive intentions and you're doing intention setting or goal setting for some of you, or setting intentions around the full moon, or setting intentions at the beginning of a program, which some of you have been doing with me recently, then this might be a really key point to look at your level of coherence. Because if there is I don't know what I want, then it's often worthiness that is the issue. It is your lack of belief in yourself. It is your belief that relates around whether you're worthy of receiving something. It is feeling as if it's too big an ask, feeling as if you don't deserve it, that is holding you back from really owning what it is. And you can give me all of the excuses in the world, or all of the reasons. The biggest one is, oh, well, that's just me, or that's just part of my personality, or that's just who I am. And it's like, no, it isn't, because a human is not safe if they're not coherent. Energetically, they will never feel safe, because coherence is part of your base chakra's security system. If your base chakra feels coherent and is coherent, it is sure of its environment, it's sure of its sustaining, grounding, earthing, safety, security, energy. And so then it feels safe. So it isn't just who you are. It's actually habits, trauma, behavior, and personality traits that are not serving your highest good. So you can give into it and say, yeah, that's just part of me. That's who I am. Or you can go, okay, so I've previously believed that this is just part of me. That's who I am. But what if there's more? But what if it's better? But what if I deserve more? But what if I have this bigger vision? But what if I want to serve and help the world to grow, to transform, to heal, instead of just giving your power away into, oh yeah, well, that's just the way I am. No. We are designed to be coherent and clear. What gets in the way is trauma. What gets in the way is pain, destruction, distraction, resistance, old patterns, belief systems, things that have happened in childhood, past life trauma, the list goes on. But these are the things that affect whether or not we're coherent, because guess what? If we're not coherent, we have lost our sense of sovereignty. And our sense of sovereignty is our divine birthright. Our sense of sovereignty is knowing who we are fully and going for what we rightly deserve in this lifetime. Our sense of sovereignty is being governed by our own power, by having full belief in our service to humanity. And that sense of sovereignty gets lost. It gets lost because we get traumatized. It gets lost because we have difficult situations. It gets lost because we haven't been taught how to love ourselves. It gets lost for reason after reason after reason. I want you to acknowledge that. Acknowledge that there is more. Acknowledge that you deserve more. Acknowledge that you're worthy of more, instead of, oh, it's just me. I've always got a problem with coherence, or I'm never clear. You know, I have one beautiful lady that I work with, and she's been working with me for many, many, many years. And she always really struggles with, you know, in the early days, positive intentions. Beginning of a yoga class, I'd always, sort of say, as you do, set a sankalpa, positive resolve. What do you want to call in? And she'd often say to me after class, I can never think of anything positive. I can never think of an intention. I can never think of anything I want or anything I need. 6 years of working with me now, gosh, she is full of intention. And she is full of beautiful, beautiful positivity around what she is worth, because she has done the healing. She's stepped into the trauma. She's realized that she is worthy of more, and that she can be coherent about what she wants and own it. And it doesn't make her, in her ego, greedy or selfish, which was what her religion taught her along the way. You can't ask for what you want, because you need to do everything for everyone else first and suffer, because that's what her strict Catholic upbringing had taught her, that she wasn't worthy of asking. And if she did ask, that she was greedy or selfish. Whereas now, as a 60-something-year-old woman, and I know she wouldn't mind me mentioning this, but there's no names, obviously. But as a 60-something-year-old woman, I am absolutely in awe of watching her tell the universe what she wants, tell the people around her what's right for her and what isn't, to claim her space and to own it, and to step into this, well, actually, you know what? I do want that. And this is how it looks. And this is what I will call in. And this is what I'm doing. Whenever she wavers, she knows it's trauma coming up. It's old patterns, old pathways. And this is what we are here to acknowledge when we start to play around with, understand, and ultimately embody the energy of coherence. It is a foundational principle. If we feel ourselves going through a certain set of sequences in life, maybe we find a house and we move into the house and we live in the house, we leave the house. Maybe when you first went for that house, there was warning bells. I'm not sure about this house. I'm not sure about the location. I'm not sure if it's right for me. There's warning bells and you don't listen. You're not coherent about that being the right move, but you go there anyway. Because the coherence wasn't there, the next stage is the unraveling of it having not been the right choice, perhaps because you weren't coherent about it. You didn't have full clarity, and then the house starts falling apart, or you're not happy in the location, or you're losing friendships, or your relationship is struggling. All of the other things, because you've actually known it's not right. If you really tune in, you knew it wasn't right in the beginning, but you went against that for whatever reason. whatever reason, disempowerment, lack of self-belief, not trusting your insight, not trusting your divinity. You didn't have coherence when you bring it back down to the practical level, and you went against that. So then you have to go through all these steps to get to this point. Oh, then it's hard to not drop into victim mentality, because it's like, why am I here again? Oh, I know. I didn't have clarity in the beginning. I wasn't clear. So you know what? We can save a lot of time by establishing the basis of everything we do with coherence. We need to get clear on it first, whatever it is, how small. Get clear on what we want for breakfast. Get clear on where the ingredients are coming from. Get clear on what time we're going to go to bed and what time we're going to get up. Get clear on how many clients we want to run in our business. Get clear on how we want to run our business. Get clear on what we want to manifest. Get clear on what relationship we want. Get clear on how much money we want to earn. Get clear on our health issues, our health concerns. Get clear on what we're letting go of, what we're calling in, because clarity and coherence is the foundation for successful abundance and for successful stories in life, all in all. If it's coherent at the beginning and it is fully anchored in the awareness that it is a full body yes for you, and that it is right for you, and that it has clarity. Maybe for you that means when you close your eyes, you can see it. You can see yourself doing it. Maybe for you that means that when you write about it, it energizes you and lights you up and is easeful. Maybe for many of us, when you're coherent about something, it's actually quite scary. You know, there's fear that comes up, and there's emotions that start to move, and there's stories that start to resurface, because you know you're tapping into something that is going to succeed. And for some of us, depending on whether we're struggling more with the deficiency or excessive nature around success or failure, then that can be the story. Whatever the story is, we must make sure that we have that solid layer of coherence. I know what I want. Quick visit to the how. When you know what you want and you make it clear to the universe through manifestation techniques, through journaling, through writing, through speaking, through saying, through action, whatever it is, the how it's going to happen is not something that you need to control. You can have your ideas and you can infuse those ideas. You know, all right, this is what I want, and maybe it happens this way, maybe it happens this way. I don't know how it happens. Have to be concerned about the how at the stage of manifestation, because you just need to know it's going to happen, and you don't know how it's going to happen, and you're okay with that. Because the work that you put in, it actually takes you more into the action, you know. So when we start this coherence piece, the reason it gets really hard for people is because they can't start going, I'm coherent about it, but how's that going to happen? How can that happen when I don't have enough money? And how can that happen when I only get paid this much? So if you get coherent that you want 30K months, and then you start going to the how and you start basing it on your salary, which is less than that, then you block the how because you mentally control it. Whereas if we are loose in that how stage, and okay, universe, you know what? I don't know how this is going to happen, but this is going to happen because I can see it happening because I'm coherent about this being my picture. Then the how starts to really land. It really lands in that, now I see it. Now this is happening. What we do need to know is the why. Why do you want it? What's it going to give you? How's it going to help others? How's it going to serve you? How will it improve your life? How will it improve the life of others? That is an important piece, because we can really begin that manifestation process off really nicely when we anchor why we want to do it. So I always look at, okay, I want to reach, let's say I've got a coherent, I want to reach 1,000 women this month. And then, all right, the how is, okay, I've got some ideas, but it could be through leads, it could be through podcasts, it could be through guest speaking, it could be through my website, my social media, my networking groups, blah, blah, blah. And I want to, I've got this clear message. I want to reach them with a certain message. Then I'm flexible with the how, but then it's like, why? Why do you want them to have that message? Well, I want them to have that message because I want them to live better lives. I want them to be free of trauma, and I want women to understand their power and step into that so that they can live their sovereignty, live the life that they're here to live, and have easeful, beautiful, flowing, prosperous, abundant existence. And then, whoa, manifestation begins, because my intention is powerful. My intention is heartfelt, it's compassionate, and it's full of gratitude. And whenever something is full of gratitude, the frequency of it is so high, it's easy to manifest it. Now, I am going to ask all of you here, beautiful, beautiful humans, to have a little bit of a experiment, if you like, with yourself over the next week or two, to really have a look at that layer of coherence, how clear you are on things. If you send muddled, mixed messages out to the universe of what you want, if you send those vibrational, confused messages out to your friends, to your family, to your partner, to your loved ones, if you are moving in between emotional and mental disturbance patterns and not creating any clarity, then you could really be blocking yourself from calling in on the life of your dreams. Rewind and look at coherence in our own lives for the next couple of weeks before you see me here again. In the meantime, hop on and talk to me anytime if you're in the Path to Life program. That means you're in here in this group, then you know you have unlimited messenger support. So let's talk about that level of coherence and how it's manifesting in your life. Be aware of things where you haven't been clear and then they haven't ended well. Be aware of the energy of coherence being really anchored before you make choices, make decisions, sign contracts, say yes to things, because often we are going to have to learn the hard way that the clarity and coherence wasn't at the base of the frame of the intention or whatever it was in the beginning. And so therefore, how can it actually become manifest? It can only manifest, only connect to, only receive what you put out at the level of complete coherence and clarity. You'll only receive it back when it is like that. It is crystal clear. So let's play around with it. I'd love to hear your reflections. I'd love to hear how you go with it. Some of you will go, oh, well, I'm always clear, I'm always coherent. But then what about the things in your life that you haven't yet connected to or manifested or are missing or you struggle with? Well, that's a good thing to write a list of those things. I haven't yet got that relationship or that sexual intimacy or that physical intimacy or that amount of money I want, or, those things. Trace it back and put a coherent message at the beginning of it and start spending time repeating that coherent message, affirming that coherent message, meditating on that coherent message, so that you start building that beautiful stepping stone system into manifesting it. Because I'm telling you now, if you're here in human form, there's always improvement when it comes to how coherent we can be. I've had a couple of situations recently where kind of said yes to things and then just gone, people have asked me for things, but it hasn't been clear. And so then I've gone, well, when you give me more clarity, then I can make a decision on that. And until I get that clarity from that external source, I won't be going anywhere with it or putting any energy into it. If I get the level of clarity and coherence from that person or that external source, then it lands with me and I can go, okay, no, that's not coherent for me. That isn't in my alignment. So I'm not going to do that because I know that won't end well. Because if it doesn't have coherence at the frame for me, then it's not right. And I can't let that land coherently with me because it's not in alignment. So I've had a couple of situations, the last couple of weeks where I've had to go sit with it and go, yeah, no, I can't get coherence around that because it's not aligned for me. So then I've had to say, no, you know what? I'm sorry, lovingly, I can't take part in that because I can't put it into a coherent beginning. So then it's not going to work for me. All right, I'm going to leave it there because I could talk about coherence all day. It is such a beautiful, powerful, potent principle to connect to, and it will change your life when you get that clarity. All right, my beautiful ones, please do be in touch. There's a few of you in this group who are interested in joining the next round of the mastermind. At this point, I would love for you to reach out. So we've started enrolling into the mastermind, and this is where we really delve into some amazing human pillars of existence, but also receive light codes and quantum upgrades to allow our system to receive the energetics of them. And we go very deep into the exploration of them and how we can actually practice spiritual with Kriya, with yoga, with meditation, with chanting and mantra to allow these foundational principles to embody and to become part of who we are innately so that we can live the most powerful, potent life possible. All right. I love you all, and I'll chat to you soon. Please keep me in the loop about your coherence.